Hello Strength Matters, welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday. I'm Scott Olson.
And I'm Phil McDougall.
Today's episode we're going to talk about sitting, not just the activity but the cost to the body through sitting. And we have a lot to say about this subject. I know I've been interviewed in the past and done podcasts on the concepts that sitting is the new smoking because it does increase risk for a lot of heart disease and a lot of other internal illnesses. But from a movement perspective, we're going to look at what sitting does to our body, to our spine, and to even our posture. Because a lot of us in today's world have, compared to photos of the 50s or older times, we've lost some of the vitality and posture that looks good and that feels good. And there's a reason we've lost it, because unlike any other time period, we have chairs, we sit for 10, 12, 16 hours a day for various reasons. And it takes a toll. So Phil, take us through some of what you have up here.
So certain studies have been done on the amount of pressure that's going through the discs in different postures. There have been several people that have published articles about this over the years. I've been following it quite a bit recently. I've been reading Stu McGill's stuff and some of the people who came who studied it a little bit, I think, before he did. But you've got certain sitting positions, and they wired people up and measured the amount of pressure going down through the discs during these positions, and they kind of scaled it on 0 to 200, as in 200 percentage. But just for the sake of this, I'll just kind of give you a graph just going off the top of my head. So laying down, barely any. Kneeling down, a little bit more. Kneeling on one leg, a little bit more. Standing, a little bit more. Now there's a danger zone where, unless you've got a super advanced body who is very body aware and able to create the length and control their own compression, then if they cross that line, then we're in danger area for lower back injury and over compression. So anyway, sitting in a chair, all of a sudden, boom, we're up on that line. Sitting on a chair whilst pushing and pulling on something, even further, like considerably further. Sitting on a chair whilst pressing upwards is kind of off the charts. But yet standing whilst pushing and pulling still remains way within the safety zone. So standing whilst pushing and pulling. The point of this is, and this is a little gripe, why corporate gyms full of beginners, in the name of making exercises more safe, they fill their gym floors full of machines that have people sitting down in these positions doing pulling and pushing exercises. It makes no sense whatsoever. Whereas if we taught them from the start and put them in these safe positions and then got them to load up, then the learning curve would be so much faster.
Yeah. And all of this is related to the studies, as Phil mentioned, is the concept of compression on the disc, on the padding between the vertebrae. But that compression can happen throughout the body, through each joint. And what we want in our lives and in our clients' lives is a healthy fullness, elongation, extension that keeps the body in good posture and good alignment in any position they happen to be doing. So instead of seeing culture walk around that's now been compressed and even collapsed because of too much sitting, we need to have more activities that help create that dynamic engagement, that stability and that mobility that actually translates into much better alignment. We've done an episode on breathing, in fact a couple. one of the better ways to take pressure off the spine is to have dynamic diaphragmatic breath, to have, and we could choose to do it through mechanical breathing and other ways. But as that tissue engages, we're taking away the compression happening on the discs. And we can learn to walk with much more activated feet, intrinsic muscles, these deep fascia lines that we can talk about at another time. But when this internal structure and tissue wakes up, it actually takes the pressure off of our joints, takes the pressure off of our spine, and allows us to just enjoy the running and the playing and the sports and the lifting without this assumption that it's always going to damage the joint. We have found that when we are disconnected sitting, it's going to damage the joint. But when we find that fluid connection again, there's a tremendous opportunity for being healthy again. So one thing just to understand, take yourself out of that danger zone as often as you can. That means varied movement, that means getting up, that means not sitting as much, especially if you have other options for good exercises. But if you are sitting, then you really need to start to understand engaging your body, being stable, being strong before any movement is going to help protect yourself. Any final thoughts on this?
I think we could talk about the ill effects of sitting for easily the next half an hour, but yeah, I think we covered everything. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, of course, for coming and watching us, joining us today. We look forward to the next one.
Thanks for watching.